Hey YouTube community, welcome to the Average Joe Day Trader channel. The concept of this channel will be that I'm going to share with you top companies by stock ticker that are the best opportunity right now for successful day trading. So do me a favor guys, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button for me, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time we post a new video. Well, my name is Josh and I am just an average Joe. You're probably thinking like, what does he mean by just an average Joe? Well, I am a husband, a dad, I work full time, but I am also a retail stock day trader. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've watched hundreds of YouTube stock training videos and even paid for materials for online stuff. As a matter of fact, I even sent $7 to a guy and he sent me like a bunch of, charts and strategies, only to then get an offer to say, hey, but if you want to have more strategies sent to you, then for $1 million more, you can join this and we'll send you a bunch more. Guys, I don't want to say they're all scams. I mean, I've learned little bits and things from there, but I finally had to understand and realize that I needed to find my one strategy and then just stick to it. And so that's what this channel is. I'm going to share with you my strategy and understand that this strategy works for me. It may not work for you, but I'm pretty sure it will. But before I go any further, let me just tell you guys, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a planner. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm just an average Joe. And if you landed here to watch this video, then chances are you also are an average Joe or an average Jane. So all I'm asking you guys is stick with me to the end of the video and it'll all make sense to you. Any way you look at it, this channel is being created just for you. My hope in creating this channel is so that I get the opportunity to share common day trade stocks and what the market's doing right now. I know that the guys that I listen to, guys and gals I listen to, really helped me. And by watching a lot of different people's videos, YouTube videos about how they day trade and things like that, really helped me as well. And I'm hoping to take some of that plus my personal experience to share with you guys. And then if you like my strategy, once I've laid it all out to you here in this introductory video to the channel, follow it. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't work, then maybe take some of what I do share with you and find your strategy and then share with me in the comments what your strategy is so that I can understand better what you guys are doing. Now, I'm not going to tell you that my strategy wins every day. It doesn't win every day. I've got days where I lose money and there's days where I win money. But the days where I lose money, I actually sit down and journal what happened so I can kind of look back and figure out what did I do wrong that caused me to not be able to be successful today. And really what ends up happening is I always come down to two specific points. Number one, I always get greedy. Okay. I always stay in too long and I miss my exit point and I watch these beautiful green candles running all the way up, run to red. And then I'm either stuck in it and I'm bag holding, or I end up, waiting it out through the day where I either get back to break even or I do take profit. The other thing is there's a lot of stocks that I watch that I end up with FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And that just means that the stock is super high and I got in at the wrong time. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate to me with that. I mean, how many times have you seen a stock, it's pumping up and it quickly moves, but you doubt yourself and then you get in too late. And like I said, it just ends up dropping like a cement block. Well, since sticking to my strategy, which I'm going to share with you, and not just trading blindly, I've avoided a lot of those silly losses, feeling disappointed in myself. The fact that I'm down 20, 30, or even hundreds of dollars. Listen, guys, I don't do options, shorts, swings. Unless I get stuck bag holding, then I will swing a trade, but I don't do any of that stuff. I typically don't like that. And I also can tell you, honestly, I do not like penny stocks. Penny stocks, basically, they're too volatile. There's a lot of insider dumping of the shares. And to be totally honest, I've seen too many people get rug pulled, believing that the stock's going to hit the moon, only end up crashing while the majority shareholder dumps it and takes all your money. Guys, I trade stocks all day long and I love just trading shares. The biggest thing about it is that I can buy into a stock And then I can set a 5 to 8% stop loss and ensure that if it does drop and I'm not paying attention, that I'm going to get out of it. And maybe I will lose 20 bucks. Maybe I will lose 50 bucks, but I'm not going to see my entire stock portfolio dump to oblivion and end up with zero in my portfolio. So I like that I can sort of set that myself and control a lot of that. The other thing is when you look at my strategy, and it's really very simple, the number one thing that I always say is you have to understand how to read candlesticks and know what they're doing. If you don't know how to read candle patterns or the types of candlestick indicators, then there's two awesome videos that I watch and I rewatch all the time, put out by some other YouTubers, and they are really great training videos. I'm going to link those in my description. Guys, go ahead and watch those videos and see if there's anything that you can gain from that. And even if you're a really seasoned stock trader that's in here listening to me, then watch them. They might be a really good refresher for you. Now, what else about my strategy? I'm going to tell you that I'm always looking for stocks that are for companies that are very tenured, meaning that this company's been around for a while. I'm looking at earnings. I'm looking that the earnings are verifiable, that there's also some sort of a catalyst like FDA approvals or positive news. And I'm focused on volume. Having the highest volume is not always essential to my trades, but I need it to be somewhat of a volume mover in order to know that I may be successful with it. One thing to remember if you're new at this is that high volume doesn't always mean positive volume. It means they're high volume of either buyers or sellers. So make sure you pay attention to bullish and bearish conditions. And again, understanding those candlestick patterns and what they're saying to you. And then when I come to pick a stock, I'm really looking for my typical stock to be anywhere from $2 to $20 a share. But that sweet spot, my favorite spot for shares in a stock or a company is anywhere between $5 and $10, because it's going to give me the ability to take good profit, make good profit if they hit right and I do the right thing in my candlestick, observations. And then in my opinion, not financial advice, I'm looking for those stocks to perform a little bit better. And those $5 to $10 range stocks usually run a little bit aggressive, but not so fast that I can keep up with understanding my entry and exit points. You guys have to understand the stocks that you want to trade, because if there's a downtrend and you're watching that big red candle, you've got to know to get out of it. And I generally will find my entry point on the 1 minute chart, because I can see what's happening. And then when I see the change from red candles to green candles, then I'm going to switch over to the 5 minute chart and see what it looks like. I'm going to switch over to the 15 minute or the 30 minute. And I want to sort of understand all the charts. Now, again, this is my strategy. This may not be your strategy, but it works for me. And I tend to typically then live in a 5 minute chart, because at 5 minutes after I've gained entry in is not going to cause me to freak out when I see like multiple reds going down, because they all of a sudden turn and go back to multiple greens going up. You have to sort of let the stock run its course. And some of the day trades that I do, they may be between 5 and 15 minutes themselves, but they also may be something I'm in for a few hours and just letting the stock grow, because I know that my trend is going to do that in this specific stock. But either way, understand those candlesticks and you'll know when you hit bottom. And then when you see that engulfing red candle and you know to get out, or the engulfing green candle, which is one of my favorites, then you hit into that where you know positive momentum's coming. But anyway, again, guys, I'm just sharing with you how I think of all this. You need to really research, train, and understand all those factors for yourself. The other thing, and I already mentioned it, is I'm looking over a 30-day period. So I'm going to run over 30 days to see what does the daily upward and the downward momentum look like. It's all about understanding a trend pattern. Now, right now in this market, I'm not going to lie to you guys, with all the stuff going on with tariffs and with different things happening on Twitter and all the craziness of what's happening in the government, a lot of the stocks are very volatile. They're very hard to chart, from a perspective of trend. So you guys have to really sort of look back 30 days and understand what is the normal trend for your stock that you're looking at. One thing I've also had to learn, and I really urge you guys to do this, and I fought it tooth and nail. I didn't really want to do it, but finally realized what the benefit from it was. You have to chart and know where your resistance and support lines are. You got to ask yourself, are the stocks that I'm looking at over a 30-day period, are they basically running within a channel, okay, where they're actually working up and down the price point, up and down within that channel? And if they stay within that specific channel and you have that trend, then you can generally know that if it's on an upward momentum, by the end of the stock day, by the time the market closes, most likely the next day it's going to come back down. Or if it's all the way going down, you pretty much can make a decision that in the next day it's going to go up. Now, I'm not telling you guys to jump right into stocks first thing in the morning. I also have sort of a 15 to 30 minute rule. I want to know when pre-market is happening and I'm watching what's happening either up or down. Once the market opens and there's some volatility, usually any good stock broker or trader is going to tell you the first 30 minutes are always volatile. And it's kind of true. But if you have a stock that generally runs a trend up and down, that volatility may not be there, especially if it's a lower volume stock. So make sure you learn the trend and then build your support and resistance lines so that you can monitor and look back on the daily chart to see what does that look like every day. Also, I'll tell you that when I'm looking at stocks, if I have stock that does continue to break the support line or break the resistance line, I may stay away from that one too, because then there's some uncertainty to how far below that support could it break and return, and how high above resistance could it break and return. And so sometimes I may sit that stock out. So total transparency, guys. I'm a 50-year-old guy. I have adult children. Right? Matter of fact, my oldest son is the one that got me into trading. And I love you, bro. Thank you for working and teaching some of this to me. But he trades options and shares and you name it. He's into all of that. Not for me. That stuff scares me. So I stay away from everything but buying shares because it works for me. Maybe it will work for you. But also what's super important is that you find a group of other guys and girls that trade, that you can bounce things off of each other and ask questions and learn to grow to become a better trader based on them sharing their successes or even their mistakes. And if you find the right group of people, you're gonna learn that they want to help you. They want to be successful with you. My son that taught me how to trade, I'm so blessed because he actually invited me and asked for permission from this specific group of guys in a private Discord. And there's about 52 guys and girls in the Discord. And on that Discord, pretty much there at every certain point every day, we connect, we talk. There's texting that goes on in there. So you're reading what everyone's sharing and what's going on in the market and sharing news and what are the releases and what's happening with, Twitter, what's happening, what are all these different, things that are going on. We trade it with each other. But the awesome part about it is being in the community is I get to ask some really stupid questions, things that I just don't understand. I can even tell you the other day they were talking about shorting stocks and I'm like, okay, guys, walk me through. What are you talking exactly about shorting stocks? So I understand what your idea of that is. And these are guys that trade the SPY and they trade, much bigger portfolios than mine. But at the end of the day, it's a great group of knowledgeable and very experienced people. And if you know what, if you have a specific question, something that you're interested in knowing the answer to, then throw it in the comments and maybe I can answer it for you. And if I can't answer it for you, then I'll ask the guys and the girls in that Discord and maybe they'll provide me an answer that I can share with you guys. The number one thing I'm going to tell you guys though is do your own research, do your own homework. Okay. Remember, I'm not giving you guys financial advice. I'm not even trying to teach you anything. I'm sharing with you my strategy and what works for me. Don't take it as the gospel and run and jump into stocks. Do your homework, do your own research. And in future videos, what I am going to do is share with you stocks that I believe, in my opinion, are the best for day trading. They're the best stocks that potentially can bring back excellent returns. And they're not big dollar stocks, guys. I already told you that my stocks generally run from $5 to $10. Now I do follow some $2 and $3 per share stocks, and there's nothing wrong with those. But I generally, when they start getting to $11, $12, $13 a share, I stay away from them. Now I have a long-term portfolio like everybody else, Nvidia, Tesla, the big names. I'm in them. Matter of fact, my son, my brother-in-law and I, we're all sort of waiting for Peloton to jump. because we're holding Peloton. But guys, that is not my day trading portfolio. Okay. The other thing I would share with you guys is really, I recommend that you take this strategy if you want to try it, but go to paper trading. Test it out first before you jump right in with your own hard-earned cash. Use whatever platform you're on and day trade. There's nothing wrong with spending a couple weeks learning these stocks that I'm sharing with you and understanding their trend. That's the point. These day trade stocks that I'm sharing with you that I believe are the best, they're not going anywhere. I'm in several stocks. I've been trading them for months and months and continuing to get return out of them. They're not going anywhere. Like I said, they're tenured, good companies that are not going to dump. My portfolio maybe is similar to yours, but my portfolio enables me to purchase anywhere from 500 to 1,500 shares, depending on the cost per share. And I have a daily goal that I try to make at least $100 per day. And with some of these day trade stocks, I'm going to tell you guys, I do that. I make my $100 goal per day. And I didn't make the $100 goal per day this past week. I think I made $428, $426, because one of the days I missed my exit point and it dropped back down and I had to let it run. And what would have been $125, $130 profit ended up only being like $60, $70. So I had 2 days like that. And that happens. Okay. But my goal is to try to earn at least $500 a week in all of my day trading. The other thing I'm going to tell you, I'm only in one trade at a time. I have learned if I have more than one trade going at a time, I'm going to lose somewhere. So I stay in one trade at a time, but I go into that trade really heavy. I may buy 1,000 shares and I live in that stock for that period of time. And it might be 5 to 15 minutes. Like I said, it might be 3 hours. Okay. But I live in that trade. And I recommend that to you guys. One trade at a time. The other thing that I do, and so I use Webull for my stock trading. I just find it to be a very good platform. And I don't make any money from this. I'm not advertising for anybody. I'm just sharing what I use. But I use Webull. But my son was funny because I was telling him like, hey man, I wish there was a way to better monitor my like a scanner. And he said, well, download Robinhood and use Robinhood on your phone, or have it on a secondary screen, which I have multiple screens set up, and monitor Robinhood and watch their scanner. And he uses Robinhood and it is really good. They have a really good scanner. But I'm looking for stocks in the moment that have good volume and that have a good percentage change. And I'm looking at that scanner while I'm watching news as it comes out. And I recommend you guys find either number one, a really good scanner, and number two, find a really good news outlet. I actually like Yahoo Finance. And there's also a stock website called FinBiz that gives you a lot of good information. And I may have some future videos that talk about those things specifically. But again, all part of my strategy, guys. All right. So I think I've shared enough about that. Recap the strategy. Look for volume. Make sure you find stocks or companies that have good tenure. They've been around for a while. Look at the price point. Okay. Are you comfortable? And guys, understand your risk. I talked about my stop loss is generally 5 to 8%, but I'm not going to tell you that I don't have specific stocks that I day trade that I don't even set a stop loss because I'm sitting and watching it and I know what's going to happen with my entry and exit point. If you get real comfortable with trends over 30 days or more on a specific company, you may not want to use a stop loss because you know that it's going to go lower than 5, 8%. It might drop 15% and then go 30% up, okay, or 40% up. And I have some that are like that. So before I leave you guys, and I know I've shared all this information with you, I'm going to share at least one stock today to try to get you started. And I'm probably going to talk about this stock every single time that I talk about stocks. And that is APLD. All right. APLD, Applied Digital. This is a stock that for me, the trend runs so easy to read and it's so easy to trade, in my opinion, that everyone should take a shot at APLD. Applied Digital Corporation, their days range is from about $6.50 up to about $8. For example, the other day I got in at about $7.03 and I got out at $7.29, $26 per share. And I was in it for 750 shares and I made about $195 that day in that stock. And the big thing is the average volume for the day was over 25 million. And in the morning, generally, you'll see it's less than a million. But I watched the volume build throughout the day, and that's how I'm watching volume. I'm watching my MACD, and I'll talk about that in a minute when I share with you my screen so you can see the actual stock. But that's one thing I look for. I also know that APLD has earnings coming up the week of April 9th through April 14th. And when they announce the actual day earnings is coming out, I promise you, I'm going to purchase stocks the night before the market closes at 4 o'clock. I'm probably going to load up on shares and I'm going to wait to see what happens with earnings. It may drop. It may go up. I'll set a stop loss on it just in case it has a nasty drop, but I'll be watching it that next morning too, to see what actually happens when it opens. Now, the thing about APLD that I really like is that typically 67% of all their shares are held by institutions. All right. And one of those institutions with $56 million worth of shares, which is kind of small for the market cap. It's only about 3.5%, but it's NVIDIA. If NVIDIA goes, so does APLD, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. So I watch what's happening with NVIDIA, not meaning if their stock drops, but if NVIDIA makes a decision to dump, other smaller companies like that, chances are APLD won't be a day trade stock for me anymore. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a look at the trends, over the last many trading days, and I'm going to show you about volume and the price and all that. And let's just kind of get to it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to share with you about APLD that I forgot is the reason why I stay excited about it between $6.50 and $8 is because basically they have a very, very strong buy rating. So if you pull up the analyst rating in Webull, their analyst rating shows very strong buy, and they actually recommend that you buy their stock. Now, maybe that's buy it to stay in it long term. I don't, but I could see that being a good thing if you wanted to buy some long term and trade some. I want as much, money as I can have available for day trading to make my money my goal every day. But they basically say that this stock has an average price target of $12.44 with a high estimate of $20, right? And the lowest they're saying is $9, and we're below that right now. So yeah, you could say, based on market conditions, it is a good, discounted stock right now. But anyway, something to keep in mind. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and get into the actual charts. Okay, so you guys are in the charts with me, and what I want you to see is that I've got three main views. Now, please remember, you're seeing my one screen right now as I screen share with you, but I have at least three monitors going where I can put different things up. I've got my scanner, I've got my news, and I've got the SPY, the S&P 500. I've got the trade I'm in right now, and I'm comparing all these things. And this is one of the main charts that I use. And this one here has, you can see the S&P 500 SPY. You can also see I have SoundHound. I'm constantly monitoring SoundHound and Tesla. And then I've got my APLD, and you see I have, some of my support and resistance lines in here. But this is one of my multi-chart levels. Then I go to Josh Loves APLD. If you guys can see that up here, I'm trying to get that big. That's what the Discord guys named me, because I always talk about APLD, and I've got a bunch of guys in Discord that actually track it with me and make money with me, but they named me Josh Loves APLD. So this is my Josh Loves APLD screen and charts. And I have, basically I'm running my 1 minute so I can monitor what's going on 1 minute. Obviously we're closed right now market wise. And then I have my 30 minute where I can watch 30 minutes. And I do switch between 30 minutes and 15 minutes. Okay. And then I have right here where I can easily buy and sell and get it in out. And then I have price. I'm watching my open and close, my highs. I'm watching my average volume. I'm looking at, you see here 25.20 million in volume before the market closed this past Friday. I'm looking at all the different variables of what's happening with my stock. And then I'm watching the volume analysis. I'm watching how many people are buying, how many people are selling, what that volume looks like, and just sort of understanding all that big picture. But for you guys, average Joe day trader, I'm going to just be specific to APLD. Okay. And I want you to see this APLD right now. We're set up on a 15-minute chart. Let me go to a 30-minute, and I'm just going to kind of run this back with you. Okay. And so I can show you over multiple days what this looks like. So you guys will remember very much so, March 3rd, they called that Bloody Monday. That was the day that the stock literally dropped. Everybody was dropping, okay? And it continued post-market and pre-market. It just continued. And then we had some good news, and the market started to kind of go up. Now, this line right here, this is my S&P 500. Right now, it doesn't really show as good, okay, because of the fact that we're in a 30-minute. But if I go to 1 minute on here, okay, I'm tracking SPY with my trade, okay, and it's showing me the downs and the ups, and I'm monitoring what's happening. And you see right here in the SPY took a turn right here on this big red candle, and you got a lot of these nasty little green candles that weren't doing a whole lot. But then look what happened when the SPY's running. Well, so does my trend for APLD. And if you stay in it long enough, look at this. You get in here at $7.03, and you run it all the way up to about $7.21, unless you're brave. You see this red, and it's time to get out, $7.23, but you're going to end up out at the base of that, which is about $7.20, okay? So right there, guys, $7.03 to $7.20, 17 cents, figure it out based on how many shares you buy, okay? If you're going to buy 100 shares, then you're going to make 17 bucks, okay? You buy 1,000 shares, you're going to make 170 bucks, right? So consider that a factor when you're looking at these types of stocks and at these prices. But anyway, what I wanted to share, let me go back to 30-minute. Again, I know what this stock's going to do. So let's get past Bloody Monday, and we have this horrible red day, and then it comes down. Well, I know pretty much, and if you're an options trader, you pretty much know, you're watching post-market into pre-market, that this thing's coming down, and then in the pre-market, you see those first couple of green candles, okay? And at 9:30, the stock opens, and I knew that day, and I bought right into it, that it was going up, okay? And then when I got here and saw these reds, I'm out, and I'm watching to see what is it doing now. It actually ran horizontal and came down, and then boom, that beautiful big green candle, I'm jumping back in, and I'm running it up. My strategy, guys, my strategy. I understand what the candles are telling me. I also down here mentioned to you earlier, MACD. I'm following the indicator. A lot of people don't like any indicators. They think that they're all, not true. But it works for me where I'm following SPY and I'm following the MACD. Now, if you don't know how the MACD works, okay, and there's actually, you can even look up the moving average. I forget what the actual term is for it. Divergence, something else, right? The C is something else. I don't remember, but it's an oscillator. Okay. And what happens is you are looking at the MACD line, the orange line. Okay. And for example, back here, MACD is orange. Your signal line is blue. Okay. MACD gets to a point where it's getting closer to my signal. I know there's potential for that to turn. When the MACD crosses over the signal line, that usually indicates that the stock is going to start to go up. And what exactly happened here? Okay. So look up top. I have my pointer here. Look up top around here while my pointer's on here. And when it makes the turn, what happened? Yes, I'm in these two monster green candles. Now it did come back down a little bit, and you see that in the MACD as well, and you lost volume. Okay, so there's nothing here in reds, but then MACD crossed the signal again, and it's going back up, and look what happened. You ran the signal all the way up to the top. And if you look at the MACD, you see there's an indicator, because what's happening to the MACD line as it gets towards the top? It's getting closer to the signal line, which to me says, might be time to get out of this thing. And as soon as the MACD crosses back down, which is right here on this monster red candle, you're out and you took profit. And take profit every time you can, guys. Don't be greedy. Okay, I've watched stocks. When I was started day trading and I was spending, little bits of money in there, and I was like up $20. I was like, yeah, but I'm only up $20. Okay, well, I was up $20. Now I'm down $20 because I didn't take the $20. And my son and the guys in my Discord are all basically like, hey, don't be a fool. Get out while you take profit. Even if it's only $20, take the profit. Now, if you're in for 750,000, 1,500 shares, you wouldn't be at $20. You're going to be immediately at, anywhere from $5, $10, $15 per penny, and it'll run up. So if you hit 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, get out. Take whatever your goal is for the day. That's why I tell you, I've had days where I've hit my $100 and I'm like, oh man, this thing looks so good, right? And yeah, it probably will run more because I'm reading the candles, but I hit my $100. I'm satisfied. I'm not greedy. I get out and I let it run up, and it's going to run up some more, and then it's going to drop, and I'll do it again. And I might go from this stock, APLD, to another stock. But anyway, let's move forward. I knew it's going to run up that day. I'm in it. Next day, you see what's happening? Okay. Post-market, pre-market, it's running down again. I tell the guys in Discord, guys, all the time, it's going to run up this morning. Get ready. And when it runs up through the day, it's going to drop back down. Look, drop back down the next day. Huge red nasty candle, ran back up. Okay. Then it dropped back down. And then you had a second shot. Look at this. Dropped to a new low. Okay. Over the last several days, $6.72. Ran all the way back up to about $7.09. Okay. Pretty good money. Pretty good money. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you. This day, drop. That was another one of those market days. And, kind of stayed away from it. Didn't trade it at all that day. But I knew coming into the next couple of days, I'd have some opportunity to make some money. Okay. And then, boom, we're closer to where we are today. This was actually March 14th. Beautiful day. Actually ran into the next day to a new high. $7.40. It closed at the top of these candles and kept running. Boom, new high, $7.53. I was in it. I was in it right here. I remember this running pre-market and then post-market, watching this, and I got in right at the open as soon as I saw this candle into this candle, and the right there at 9:30, you see it was green, and at 10 o'clock it was up. I was in it, and it ran from $7.14 all the way up to $7.53. I waited for this big red candle. I think I got out at about, I think it was about, I don't remember what it was, 740 something. I was able to get out of it because this red candle was bouncing. But either way, guys, APLD, take a look at it. Even this past Friday, okay, I was in it. I jumped in with the guys. They were walking with me on this one. 702. Got out at, I'd say about 724. Okay. But again, 20 something cents for 1,000 shares. Guys, $200. Okay. So APLD is the one for you. Guys, thank you so much for following this video. Please subscribe, because I promise you, I'm going to try to put out as many open stock days, a new video with a new stock to take a look at, talk a little bit about market conditions and what I'm learning through the day and what I'm finding out. That's why I say hit me with your comments if you have questions. I would love to help you guys and learn with you. You may ask me questions that I don't know the answer to, and then it gives me an opportunity to even improve myself and educate myself even more. And so that's sort of the purpose for this this channel. And that's what we're going to do. Hit the subscribe button for me, guys. Please hit the like button for me and hit the notification bell. And I thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining Average Joe Day Trader. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.